Hawker 850X PI. Questions. Pneumatic systems. Pneumatic systems users.
Air conditioning, pressurization, rudder bias, hydraulic reservoir pressurization, engine anti-icing.
How many low-pressure compressor stages?
4 stages.
How many high-pressure compressor stages?
1 stage.
How many high-pressure turbine stages?
1 stage.
How many low-pressure turbine stages?
3 stages.
Rudder bias bleed air.
Low pressure bleed air.
Engine anti-icing bleed air.
High pressure bleed air.
Bleed air for air conditioning, pressurization and hydraulic reservoir pressurization.
Low pressure bleed air, high power. High pressure bleed air, low power.
At which temperature does the mixing valve limit the flow of the high pressure air?
At 270 degrees Celsius.
Time required to open the main air valve. 1.
20 seconds. Number 2, 30 seconds.
Which component is protected by the overpressure switch? And at which pressure?
40 more or less 2 psi. Air cycle motor. ACM in the environmental control unit. HU.
The cabin with flight deck valve fully open.
9,000 feet up to 40,000 feet.
High pressure air overheat light.
290 degrees Celsius.
Duct overheat light.
115 degrees Celsius.
How many overheat detectors in the rear equipment bay and the warning light?
6 overheat detectors. Rear bay overheating light.
Lights for high pressure air overheat 1 and 2. Duct overheat and rear bay overheat.
High pressure air overheat 1 and 2, 290 degrees Celsius. Duct overheat, 115 degrees Celsius, and rear bay overheat, 100 degrees Celsius.
What does ECU consist of? Environmental Control Unit.
ACM, Air Cycle Machine. CAU, Cold Air Unit. LLTCV, Low Limit Temperature Control Valve Heat Exchangers.
ECU location. Environmental Control Unit.
Rear Equipment Bay.
How many outflow?
2 outflow or safety valves.
Venturi purpose.
To generate a vacuum.
Maximum cabin pressurization settings.
Cabin pressure differential, 8.55 psi. Cabina altitude, 9,000 ft. Aircraft altitude, 41,000 feet.
Offset knob, maximum and minimum.
Minimum 50 feet per minute and 2,000 feet per minute. Vertically equates 500 feet per minute.
Air jet pump vacuum purpose.
To open the outflow or safety valves. Vacuum.
Cabin altitude of pressure regulators.
13,500 more or less 1,500 feet.
Dump valve purpose.
Provide emergency cabin ventilation.
Cabin altitude horn.
Cabin altitude 9,300 more or less 300 feet.
When do the oxygen masks drop?
At 12,000 more or less 500 feet.
When is the cabin altitude horn electrically isolated?
When flaps are extended beyond 15 degrees.
Maximum operating altitude with cabin high datum.
13,000 feet. This is the end of questions. Pneumatic systems.